Good morning, and thank you for being here. And first and foremost, wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving week with you and your families, and hope you have time to really reflect on the blessings we all have in life, and we'll get to do that together as a team with our families. And so, one of my favorite things to do, truthfully, is the Thanksgiving meal with our team and our families here. So hope you get to enjoy that also. Secondly, our thoughts and prayers are with the Nix family, losing an incredible Auburn man and quarterback in 57, and I think he was probably the Pat Sullivan of that day and who every young Auburn man wanted to be. And I know that they will celebrate his life, I believe, tomorrow, and certainly wish I could be there. Got Iron Bowl week, and it's kind of difficult, but that's just know that our thoughts and prayers are with them as they celebrated a magnificent man who impacted many in this Auburn family for sure. What a win Saturday night. Congratulations. I think Jarquez and Cam are getting some national awards and very deserving of that. And glad to see our seniors get to celebrate their last game in Jordan-Hare the way they did, and they had to fight for it. And my grandfather used to say there's no mountains being climbed on the smooth side, and we've had to climb some rocky trail, and it's fun to see them keep fighting, truthfully. And I know a lot of people in life give up, and this team hasn't, and they continue to fight, and they had to fight, scratch and claw, and to find a way to win a football game against a very, very good football team in Texas A&M, and just couldn't be prouder for those seniors that they get to go out that way. Happy for our fans to get to enjoy that type of environment. Saturday night in Jordan-Hare is always special, and that will be one that goes down in many, many people's memory, including mine, as one of the special times in coaching. So it was a solid effort. I mean, obviously, we struggled to get off the field on third down. Some of that was us. Some of that was give credit to them. The quarterback played outstanding and kept plays alive, made great throws, and we messed up some things too, but some of it was them. And offensively, when we were able to win first down, we were really good. And sometimes we didn't, and it was them. And sometimes we didn't. I could say we didn't execute real well or didn't have a great call, but I thought the effort from our kids was fantastic. Obviously, the start was great, and we're going to need another effort like that this week in the Iron Bowl against another really, really good football team who has a remarkable quarterback and who makes a difference when you play them. So looking forward to it, though, and excited about another opportunity for these kids to prove they're getting better.
Hey, Hugh, speaking of Milrow there, the good's been really good and the bad's been really bad for them. How do you game plan around a guy that's kind of been feast or famine this year for Alabama?
Oh, you look at the good. That's what he's capable of. I hope we get the lesser than version, but, in a game like this, I would think, I don't know him personally, but everything you see, he's made of the right stuff, and he competes at a high level in some of the biggest games, and I would think he'd be determined to bounce back. And so I think we've got a plan to get his best. And, yeah, I feel confident they'll use him as a runner. That's when they've been the most dangerous, and we've got to have a plan for that.
Hugh, on the first touchdown in the overtime, did you consider going for two? And what was the thought process into kicking the extra point?
Yeah, truthfully, it was on the road. Probably would have done that, in all transparency, my mind was so cluttered at that moment, I didn't want to make a bad decision. I had to put so much into getting to that point, if that makes sense. The no timeouts, the drive, we've used quite a few things, and I had no timeouts, and you're going to have a 25-second play clock coming right at you that you're going to have to. And then if you don't like it, you don't have a timeout, and it just felt rushed to me. And I usually, when you make decisions in a manner where you feel rushed, they tend not to work out. And so really it was man, I was so consumed with just getting to that point that I wasn't prepared in my mind, right or wrong. Maybe that makes me less than or something, I don't know, but I just wasn't going to feel rushed to make a call at that point.
Yeah, I want to talk about the catch that Dre made there late in the game. I think it was the last overtime. I'm not sure I've seen a catch that good. We've been covering Auburn, Jason and I, for almost 30 years. What was your thought about that catch in real time, and maybe what you've thought about it after?
It's a play that we have worked every single Thursday against our defense in situational. We always do last play scenarios from different yard lines, and that's a play we've worked from inside the 5 a lot. And believe it or not, he's probably made a catch like that against them 8 to 10 times. And so I wasn't surprised, but it was a really, really nice throw, too. He had to be high, and it had to be where it was. We had some answers if it was a different coverage, too, that was the first option. And then the back line's the last option, and he's got to win. And it was a heck of a throw and a heck of a catch for sure. I thought you were going to talk about the mesh route he caught that he got down to the 2-yard line where we should have had a chance to score a touchdown. That was
Coach, heading into this week, what is your message to your secondary when you're trying to prepare for receivers like Ryan Williams, and what have you seen from Ryan Williams this year?
Well, we've played some really good receivers here as of late. I thought A&M's were very talented also, and certainly Alabama's are. They've got 3 guys that I think are all really, really legit SEC receivers. And, of course, Ryan is a kid we recruited really hard and know how talented he is also. I mean, the message is the same. We've got to do our assignment on every play and forget the last one. Have a short memory when you're a DB. It's just you can't hold on to it. You've got to play the next one. And you're on an island a lot of the times back there. And with an athletic quarterback and athletic receivers, they're going to make some plays, and just got to hope we can make our share also.
Coach, one of the things your offense has excelled at this year is creating explosive plays of 20 yards or more. Auburn hasn't won in Tuscaloosa since 2010. Can you talk about how you continue to generate big plays on the road to give you a chance there in Alabama?
Well, it's film study, and you got to have good designs. And they've got to be called at the right time against the right defense. That's not always the easiest thing. You can have some that are, have a chance to work against multiple things, but usually the biggest ones need to be called against the right coverages at the right time, without pressure maybe, or and all of those are sometimes a guessing game. But I think we do have a knack for having good designs for some. And we'll need those to go multiple drives. You're not going to just drive the football 75 yards every time without some explosive plays. So that'll be a big part of winning there in Tuscaloosa on Saturday.
Coach, a lot of great reactions and videos and responses from recruits from what happened this weekend. But the ones that you got to talk to and kind of conversate with after the win, what was their thought process to you?
That's the one thing I miss about not being on the Twitter world and stuff, is I don't get to see all of that, and I really don't know what's going on. But the ones I had conversations with after the game were all incredible, and then continuing into yesterday with some of the official visits. And, I think it certainly helped our cause. showing this is what Auburn can be again, and you can beat top 12 teams or whatever they're ranked. And, that's a team that's playing to go to the SEC championship game. And I think they've noticed all the close losses, but now they get to see not only what the Auburn fan base is like and the support we have and the energy that we have. And I think they see, too, probably the best testimony is just the locker room. Look at our kids, and that they continue to fight and they continue to stay together and continue to care, and that's a culture that I think some of these 25 class guys kind of are drawn to. And I'm not saying we're the only ones that have that, but that's another thing for sure that I think they're noticing.
This would be your second Iron Bowl now. I guess having been through that game, what do you think the Iron Bowl means to a coach's legacy at Auburn?
Oh, there's no bigger game on the schedule to sit in this seat, and to lose one like we did last year still doesn't set right. And I know that the Auburn faithful have had to endure that, and we want to change that feeling in this building and for our great fan base in this state. And it's a tall task. Their roster is deeper, but it was deeper last year too, and we had a shot to win it. So got to find a way to keep ourselves in it and give us a chance to win, and try to change that, and hopefully start making that a regular expectation.
You've had to play freshmen really all year, but especially the last 6 or 7 games. They've been heavily involved. How much have you seen that group grow up, both on offense and defense?
Enormous. I see it every week. I mean, the improvement that Malik Blocked and Amaris Williams, Riddick, Jay Crawford, Kinley Falston. I mean, they're getting better and better each week. And offensively, I think, our receivers were talented and good, but they're starting to learn how to play the game better and understand some coverages and depths of routes. And, so it's certainly, I've seen the growth, and they are getting better, and hopefully we'll continue to improve this week.
Yeah, adding on to Jacob's question, how big was it to get that win with signing day moved up this year, and how does that kind of change your guys' approach, knowing that don't have in-home visits, don't have those things going into kind of the middle of December?
Yeah, it's interesting. You start to, I'm for this. Being able to stay with your team as soon as the season's over in December, and honestly to kind of take a breather a bit at night and be with your family, and not be on the road every single day and doing visits, is something I welcome. Obviously, with new things, there's always some things you don't like. I mean, you find out real quick that it's kind of advantageous to have a home game the last weekend, and every other year we're going to be on the short end of that, and where kids are going to be on other people's campuses that last weekend before signing day and not on ours. So that's a little negative, and you just got to hope you can hold on through the last storm that comes. But I'm excited about it, truthfully, to be able to kind of be around our team, and you got to continue to recruit them too, and kind of not be all over the place in the month of December.
Coach, I think you said it after the game that this team just believes it can win, especially at this point in the season. Going into this one, what is that belief that you can get one in Tuscaloosa, and how different does this feel from the last Iron Bowl going into this one now?
You have zero chance of winning if you don't have a belief that you can do it. And I think somewhere along the line in these difficult losses, we've started believing more, and hope has become a real thing, that you can go on the field and beat good football teams. You've played close games with them, but you can win them, and it's going to take an amount of that belief going into Tuscaloosa to win. It's not an easy place to play. No road. Just look at the SEC every week. You play on the road, it's hard enough to win at home, but you go on the road, it's really difficult, and so that's a tall task that we have to have. But it better start with us believing that we can go in there and win.
The first Iron Bowl in a while that Nick Saban won't be on the other sideline for Alabama. When you study them, do you still see his fingerprints on this roster, or is this team kind of devoid of what Nick Saban was all about?
I have on my list to call him and make sure he's out of town, and not in town this week. First, I have great respect for Kalen DeBoer, and we go way back to NAIA days, and he's had success everywhere he's been. And then Kane Woerner, obviously my ties with his family. His father was my DC for years, and I gave Kane his first job at Ole Miss, and to watch him, he's got a wonderful family, and so I've got great respect for those guys also, and they've got one of my former guys as the defensive analyst there, and he knows all our stuff, and so we got to combat that again this week. But so I have great respect for Kalen and Kane and that staff there. Obviously, Nick was he's a friend of mine, but also I love competing against him because he's arguably the best that's done it. And I know a lot of people say, well, he always had good rosters. Well, that's part of being a good coach is you go get good rosters, and he was always very good at that. And it's different for sure. The scheme is a little different. It's not the same as what you would see under a Nick defense. I mean, there's some similarities. There's always going to be some, but it's not the same, to answer your question.
Coach, last offseason, you made the decision to go to the portal to get a QB. You're kind of at the end of the road here with Peyton. And seeing him after the game, he looked relieved and to get the win and get this big one. You got one more left together. What were your conversations with him been like about kind of coming to the end of this journey together and what he can leave as his legacy?
It's funny you ask that. Most of our conversations now are, there'll be some ball talk, obviously, in the meetings and stuff, but most of it's been about just the mental toughness that he and I have kind of endured together to get through a lot of things that he could have gone a lot of different directions, and credit to him and his makeup and his determination and mental toughness to not let other people define him, and to continue to go to work and get better and improve and help others around him improve. And so most of our talks have just been about that, and it was some relief for he and I both to see him. I mean, he's really played well in a lot of games since the Cal game, and he just hadn't gotten the results for one reason or the other. But his play's been pretty consistent. I don't keep up with the stats. I don't know where he's at in the SEC passing and efficiency, but it's got to be up there, I would think. And so I'm happy for him because he's endured. And isn't that just I know y'all get tired of hearing me talk about life, but that's really what I believe in. I believe that we are, I know I'll get judged by wins and losses and what the scoreboard says, and I get that. I signed up for it. But at the end of the day, man, 15 years from now, these young men will remember probably more about what I said about what we're learning, what we're going through, good, bad, or indifferent, and how I modeled that in relationship with them, maybe more than the wins and losses. And so proud to see Peyton endure well and finish well.
Coach, you kind of touched on your relationship with Kane Woerner and kind of what he's been able to do at Alabama. When you're looking at maybe Alabama's up front unit defensively, was the Texas A&M game a good way for you guys to prepare kind of what you'll see on Saturday?
I missed the first thing you said.
You
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, Kane goes way back. I mean, his dad was my first defensive coordinator when I got my first head job. And Dave is an incredible friend. And you know, we've got Dave's daughter here with us, and as she's married to my strength coach, so it's a whole family affair for them. They'll have an interesting Thanksgiving, I'm sure. Yeah, you know, Kane does a great job, and their front it looks a lot like Texas A&M's for sure. Big, athletic, strong. They're maybe a little longer at linebacker actually than A&M. So it was a good prep for us to face what we faced last week for sure.
Oscar struggled Saturday. I mean, is there anything physically or anything like that? Because he could really be important Saturday.
Yeah, that's the first time he's done a couple things like that, and I wasn't happy with him. But I love Oscar, and he's been very consistent. I expect him to bounce back well, and Ian bounced back from what I thought was an awful attempt at a field goal, and man had ice in his veins when it counted, and so I think Oscar will do the same.